Why you would hate being the Queen of England. A boring story to help you sleep. Part 1. Welcome to Boring Stories, where we explore the mundane side of extraordinary lives. Tonight we delve into the daily routine of the late Queen Elizabeth II. This is just part 1 of a 5-part Boring Stories series on why you would hate being the Queen of England. As we explore why being the Queen might not be as glamorous as it seems, let this gentle story guide you into a peaceful slumber. Now, while you settle into your sheets this evening, consider liking this video and subscribing, but only if our boring stories truly resonate with you. We'd love to hear from you in the comments. What boring story should we do next? Also, tell us where you're tuning in from and the time on your clock. It's always fascinating to see our global community come together. Now, dim the lights, cuddle up with your favourite blanket or pillow, and let's embark on tonight's journey of why you would hate being the Queen of England. A boring story to help you sleep. Part 1. Imagine, if you will, the soft, almost imperceptible shift from the deep quietude of sleep to the gentle awareness of a new day. You are not in your own familiar bed, but rather in the grand, ornate bedroom of Buckingham Palace. The air, though still, carries a faint, almost imperceptible scent of old wood, polished brass, and the distant, ever-present hum of a vast, sleeping establishment. The morning light does not burst forth, but rather it softly filters through the heavy velvet curtains, custom-made and perfectly aligned, casting a gentle, diffused glow across the room. This is not the harsh glare of an alarm clock, nor the sudden intrusion of a smartphone screen. It is a slow, deliberate awakening, orchestrated by the very fabric of the palace itself. As Queen Elizabeth II, your day does not begin with the jarring ring of an alarm. Instead, a quiet, almost reverent knock sounds at the door at precisely 7:30 a.m. It is your personal maid, a figure of quiet efficiency, who enters the room with a hushed grace. She moves with practiced ease, drawing back the heavy curtains to reveal the soft, muted light of the London morning. The sounds from outside are distant, softened by the thick walls and the sheer scale of the palace. Perhaps the faint chirping of a lone bird, or the almost imperceptible rumble of early morning traffic far, far away. This is the beginning of a day marked by a sense of predictability that most people in their chaotic modern lives might find deeply comforting. Yet, for you, the Queen, it is a predictability that, over decades, could come to feel less like comfort and more like a gentle, unyielding embrace, perhaps even a subtle form of stifling. Your first sips of tea arrive promptly, delivered on a silver tray, alongside a selection of biscuits. This is not a moment for leisurely scrolling through news feeds or catching up on social media. This is a moment of quiet contemplation, a brief interlude before the day's true work begins. The tea is always the same blend, prepared to the same precise temperature, poured into the same delicate china cup. There is a comfort in this consistency, certainly, but also a subtle lack of variation, a gentle reminder that even the smallest choices in your life are often predetermined. As you sip, the maid might quietly draw your bath, the sound of the running water a soft, rhythmic counterpoint to the stillness of the room. This is a private moment, yet even here, the routine is paramount. The process of dressing is not a matter of choosing what feels comfortable or what suits your mood. It is a carefully orchestrated ritual, guided by the day's engagements. Each outfit is selected with meticulous care by your dressers, considering the protocol, the weather, and the symbolism required for each event. There are no casual Fridays, no impromptu decisions to wear something simply because you like it. Every button, every pleat, every accessory is chosen for a purpose, often to convey a message, to uphold tradition, or to simply ensure you are impeccably presented. Imagine the subtle weight of this expectation. Day after day, year after year. The freedom to simply choose what to wear, a freedom most take for granted, is a luxury you seldom enjoy. After the quiet preparations in your private chambers, a traditional breakfast awaits you. The dining room, vast and echoing, is set with fine china that has seen generations of monarchs, and silverware that gleams under the soft light of the chandeliers. It is a picture of elegance, certainly, a scene plucked from a history book. Yet, there is a formality to this meal that might feel constraining, a quiet solemnity that pervades the space. You might sit at a large table, perhaps with a close family member or two, but the atmosphere is rarely one of boisterous conversation or relaxed ease. While many enjoy a relaxed breakfast with family, perhaps in pajamas, sharing anecdotes from the previous day, or a quick coffee on the go, your mornings are marked by quiet ritual and protocol. The toast is always lightly buttered, the marmalade always from a specific jar, the eggs prepared precisely to your preference. It is sustenance, certainly, but also a continuation of the day's carefully choreographed movements. The post-breakfast ritual often involves a quiet walk with your beloved corgis in the palace gardens. This is a moment of relative peace, a connection with nature amidst the urban grandeur. The dogs, with their distinctive waddle and joyful barks, offer a genuine, uncomplicated affection. Yet even this seemingly simple pleasure is contained within the palace grounds, a gilded cage, however expansive. The freedom to simply step out of your front door and wander through a park, to browse a local shop, or to sit unnoticed on a bench is not yours. The gardens are beautiful, meticulously maintained, but they are still a boundary, a perimeter that defines the limits of your personal space. As the morning progresses, your day becomes meticulously planned, a finely tuned instrument of state. Every hour is accounted for, often down to the minute. The famous red boxes arrive, dispatch boxes filled with government papers, documents, and correspondence from across the Commonwealth. This is not light reading. These are official documents requiring your attention, your approval, your signature. Imagine the sheer volume of paperwork, day after day, week after week, year after year. Every decision, every piece of legislation, every diplomatic communication passes through your hands. The weight of these documents is not just physical, it is the weight of an entire nation, a commonwealth resting on your desk and, by extension, on your shoulders. Meetings fill your schedule, from private audiences with the Prime Minister to diplomatic encounters with foreign dignitaries. These are not casual chats. Each meeting is steeped in protocol, requiring precise etiquette, careful listening, and often a neutral yet engaged demeanour. You are a symbol, a figurehead, and a repository of institutional memory. Your role is to advise, to question, to provide continuity, but rarely to dictate. The power is immense, yet it is a power exercised largely through influence and tradition, rather than direct command. This can be a subtle frustration, the knowledge that you see so much, understand so much, yet your direct executive power is limited. The life of a queen is one of constant obligation, where spontaneity is a luxury you seldom enjoy. Unlike the modern professional, who might have the flexibility to work from home, choose their own hours, or take an impromptu day off, your duties are bound by tradition and expectation, by a schedule set months, even years, in advance. A sudden illness might necessitate a rescheduling, but the underlying duties remain, simply shifted, not removed. There is no sick day in the traditional sense, no opportunity to simply disconnect. The crown waits for no one. Public appearances are a regular, almost daily feature of your life. From opening new hospitals to attending memorial services, from hosting garden parties to reviewing troops, your presence is required, expected, and meticulously observed. Every smile, every handshake, every word spoken is not just a gesture. It is a carefully considered act, observed and analysed by the public, by the press, by the world. Imagine the constant awareness of being watched, of every movement being scrutinised, every expression interpreted. While many people can blend into the crowd, enjoy anonymity, or simply have an off day without public consequence, your life is lived under the constant, unblinking gaze of the world. Privacy is a rare commodity, a fleeting moment stolen between engagements. The freedom to express yourself without scrutiny, to simply be a private individual with personal thoughts and feelings, is something you might long for, a quiet yearning amidst the clamour of public duty. The grandeur of the palace, while awe-inspiring to visitors, can often feel isolating. The vast halls echo with a quiet solitude, the sheer scale of the rooms emphasizing the distance between individuals. Imagine walking through corridors lined with priceless art and historical artifacts, yet feeling a profound sense of being alone within the splendor. This contrasts sharply with the warmth of a bustling home, filled with the casual chatter of family and friends, the spontaneous laughter, the shared meals around a kitchen table, while others might unwind with a casual dinner at a local restaurant, an impromptu movie night with loved ones, or a quiet evening simply reading a book without interruption. Your evenings are often reserved for formal events and state functions, where every interaction is governed by an unspoken code of conduct. Even when family is present, the weight of the institution is never far, a silent guest at every gathering. As the day draws to a close, your evening routine is one of quiet reflection and preparation for the next day's obligations. The red boxes might be revisited, further documents reviewed, final decisions made. There is a sense of winding down, certainly, but the mental gears never quite disengage. The weight of responsibility never quite leaves your shoulders, even as you retire for the night. It is a constant hum, a background noise that accompanies every waking and sleeping moment. Yet, within this unyielding routine, there is a peculiar tranquility, a sense of order that can be profoundly soothing in its predictability. The world outside might be chaotic, but within the palace, within your life, there is a steadfast rhythm, a comforting certainty. And so, as you drift into sleep, consider the life of Queen Elizabeth II, a life defined by duty, by unwavering tradition, and often by a profound solitude that belies the constant presence of staff and public. The role of a queen is not the fairy tale many imagine, filled with endless glamour and unbridled power. It is, in its essence, a life lived within the confines of immense responsibility, where the expectations of a nation and indeed a global community rest upon your shoulders, day after day, decade after decade. It is a life of quiet sacrifice, of personal desires often subsumed by public necessity. Let us delve deeper into the intricate tapestry of your existence as queen, beyond the immediate confines of the palace walls. The public appearances, as we touched upon, are not merely a matter of showing up and smiling. They are meticulously choreographed ballets of protocol, security, and symbolism. Each engagement, whether it be the solemn opening of Parliament, the joyous celebration of a jubilee, or a quiet visit to a local charity, demands a specific demeanour, a particular set of interactions, and an unwavering presence. You are not simply attending an event, you are embodying an institution, a living symbol of continuity and stability. Consider the sheer volume of faces you encounter, thousands upon thousands of people, year after year, each with their own hopes, their own stories, their own expectations of what a monarch should be. You shake countless hands, offer countless smiles, exchange countless brief, polite words. Each interaction, no matter how fleeting, is a moment of connection, a thread woven into the vast fabric of public perception. Yet imagine the mental fatigue that must accompany this constant engagement. To be perpetually on, to always project an aura of calm resilience, even when you might feel tired or unwell or simply overwhelmed. The luxury of a private moment of annoyance, a fleeting expression of boredom, or a spontaneous, unscripted reaction is simply not afforded to you. Every gesture is magnified, every word amplified, every photograph dissected. The wardrobe, for instance, is not a personal expression of style, but a tool of statecraft. Each outfit is chosen not just for aesthetic appeal, but for its suitability, its visibility, and its symbolic resonance. Bright colours are often preferred for public engagements, not out of vanity, but so that you can be easily spotted in a crowd, a beacon for those who have waited hours to catch a glimpse. Hats are not merely fashion accessories, they are part of the uniform, a distinctive element of your public persona. Imagine the endless fittings, the discussions about fabric weight, colour palettes, and appropriate hemlines. The dressers, the milliners, the jewellers, a small army of professionals dedicated to ensuring your external presentation is flawless, always. You might have a personal preference for a certain shade of blue or a particular cut of dress, but ultimately, the needs of the institution often supersede individual taste. The question is not, what do I want to wear today, but what does the occasion demand of the Queen? And then there is the travel. Official visits, both within the United Kingdom and across the globe, are not leisurely holidays. They are rigorous diplomatic missions, packed with engagements from dawn until dusk. Imagine stepping off a plane in a new country, immediately being greeted by a guard of honour, then whisked away to a state dinner, followed by a series of meetings, cultural events, and public walkabouts, all while battling jet lag and maintaining a perfectly composed demeanour. The itineraries are planned with military precision, every minute accounted for, every movement choreographed. There is little time for spontaneous exploration, for lingering in a museum, or for simply enjoying the local cuisine without the watchful eyes of security and media. The sights you see are often fleeting glimpses from a motorcade or carefully curated views from official venues. The true essence of a place, the quiet corners and hidden gems, often remain unseen, obscured by the demands of your role. Security is an ever-present, yet often unseen companion. From the moment you wake until the moment you sleep, you are surrounded by a discreet but vigilant security detail. This is not a burden you can simply dismiss. It is a fundamental necessity for your safety and, by extension, for the stability of the realm. Imagine the subtle restrictions this imposes on your daily life. The inability to simply pop out to a local shop, to take an unplanned stroll through a bustling market, or to enjoy a quiet meal in a public restaurant. Every outing, no matter how small, requires advanced planning, security sweeps, and the deployment of personnel. While it offers protection, it also creates an invisible barrier, a constant reminder that your life is not entirely your own, that your movements are always constrained by the need for absolute safety. This quiet, persistent presence, while reassuring, also subtly reinforces the isolation of your position. Even your hobbies and leisure pursuits, which for most are a source of unadulterated relaxation, often carry an element of public expectation or scrutiny. Your love for horses, for instance, is well known and deeply personal. Yet, attending races, presenting trophies, or even simply riding in the palace grounds can become a public spectacle. Your dogs, your beloved corgis, are constant companions, offering unconditional affection. But even their walks in the garden are within the confines of the palace, and their presence at public events is often noted and photographed. The truly private moments, the quiet contemplation, the simple enjoyment of a book or a television program are rare and precious, often snatched in the quietude of your private apartments, far from the public gaze. Consider the intricacies of your interactions with the vast staff that keeps the royal household functioning. From the footmen to the chefs, the gardeners to the equerries, hundreds of individuals contribute to the smooth running of your life. While there is undoubtedly respect and often affection, the relationship is fundamentally formal. You are their sovereign and they are your employees. Casual friendships, spontaneous conversations about personal lives, or the easy camaraderie that defines many workplaces are largely absent. Every interaction is governed by a subtle hierarchy, a deferential politeness that, while efficient, can also create a distance, a sense of being perpetually on a different plane from those around you. The palace, for all its inhabitants, can still be a lonely place at the very top. The financial management of the Crown Estate, while seemingly a source of immense wealth, is a complex and bureaucratic affair. It is not your personal fortune to spend as you wish. The revenues generated by the Crown Estate, which includes vast tracts of land, property, and even seabed, are surrendered to the Treasury in exchange for the sovereign grant, which funds your official duties, the maintenance of the palaces, and the salaries of your staff. Imagine the endless reports, the detailed audits, the discussions about budgets and expenditures. It is a constant process of oversight and accountability, a reminder that the grandeur of your position comes with significant administrative burdens, far removed from the simple act of managing personal finances. This is not about choosing a new car or planning a personal investment. It is about overseeing a vast, ancient portfolio, ensuring its continued prosperity for the benefit of the nation, not for personal enrichment. Then there is the constant need for learning and briefings. To be an effective head of state, even a constitutional one, requires an encyclopedic knowledge of current affairs, historical precedents, and the intricate workings of government, both domestic and international. Imagine daily briefings from private secretaries, weekly meetings with the Prime Minister, and a constant stream of official documents requiring your attention. You must be conversant in global politics, economic trends, social issues, and cultural developments. This is not casual reading of newspapers. It is an active, continuous process of absorbing vast amounts of information, understanding nuances, and retaining details that might be relevant years, even decades, later. The mental discipline required to maintain this level of informed awareness, day in and day out, is immense. It is a perpetual education, a lifelong commitment to understanding the world you represent. Even your health and wellness become matters of public concern. A slight cough, a stumble, or a moment of apparent fatigue can trigger headlines and speculation. You must maintain an image of robust health and unwavering resilience, even when you might be feeling the natural aches and pains of age or the weariness that comes with a demanding schedule. Medical care is, of course, impeccable, but it is also discreet and highly managed. There is no public display of vulnerability, no casual discussion of ailments. Your physical well-being is intrinsically linked to the stability of the monarchy, and thus it too becomes a part of the public persona, another aspect of your life that is not entirely your own. This brings us to the most pervasive, perhaps most subtly draining aspect of all, the never off-duty reality. For most people, there is a clear distinction between work and personal life, a moment when the uniform comes off, the laptop closes, and the responsibilities of the day are set aside. For you, the Queen, that distinction is blurred, almost non-existent. You are the Queen not just when you are performing official duties, but when you are walking your dogs, when you are having a private dinner, when you are simply sitting alone in a quiet room. The title, the role, the weight of history never truly leave you. It is a mental burden, a constant awareness of the immense responsibility you carry. Even in moments of personal joy or sorrow, the public dimension of your life is never far away. Your personal grief is shared by a nation. Your personal celebrations are national events. This constant, pervasive awareness of your role, this inability to truly disconnect, is perhaps the most profound and most subtly exhausting aspect of being the monarch. It is a life lived entirely in service, a perpetual performance, however quiet and dignified it may be. The historical context of your role adds another layer to this unique existence. You are not just a person. You are the latest in a long line of monarchs, stretching back over 1,000 years. Every tradition you uphold, every ceremony you participate in, every palace you inhabit, carries the echoes of centuries of history. Imagine the weight of this lineage. You are a living link to the past, a custodian of ancient customs and evolving constitutional principles. This means that many of your actions are not simply your own choices, but continuations of established patterns, responses to historical precedents. The freedom to innovate, to drastically alter the course of the monarchy, is limited by the very nature of its historical continuity. You are a steward, a guardian, rather than a revolutionary. This sense of being part of something far larger and older than yourself, while perhaps awe-inspiring, also means that your individual will is often subsumed by the momentum of history. Consider the subtle art of conversation. As Queen, you meet an astonishing array of people from all walks of life: world leaders, celebrities, ordinary citizens, veterans, school children. Each interaction requires a specific approach. You must be engaging yet neutral, interested yet never overly opinionated on political matters. You master the art of the polite inquiry, the gentle redirection, the brief but memorable exchange. Imagine the mental database you must maintain, recalling names, faces, past conversations, and relevant facts about countless individuals and organizations. This is not casual banter. It is a diplomatic skill, honed over decades, designed to put people at ease while maintaining the dignity of your office. The spontaneity of a truly free-flowing conversation, where one might debate or express strong personal views, is largely absent. Every word is chosen with care, every topic navigated with a quiet precision. Even the simple act of eating, as touched upon earlier, is governed by unspoken rules. While you have personal preferences, the menu for state dinners and official functions is carefully curated, often reflecting diplomatic considerations or traditional British cuisine. Imagine sitting through countless multi-course meals, making polite conversation, all while adhering to a strict schedule and maintaining a composed demeanour. There is no opportunity for a spontaneous craving for a late-night snack from the fridge or a casual takeout order. Every meal is an event, a part of the larger tapestry of your official life. The simplicity of a truly private, uncomplicated meal is a rare pleasure. The constant soundscape of your life is also unique. While the palace can be quiet, it is never truly silent. There is the gentle hum of the vast building itself, the distant sounds of staff moving about, the subtle presence of security. Outside, there are the muffled sounds of London, the distant sirens, the occasional roar of a passing plane. But crucially, there is also the constant, low thrum of expectation. The knowledge that at any moment a red box might arrive, a phone might ring, a new crisis might demand your attention. This isn't a life of sudden, jarring noises, but rather one of a pervasive, underlying hum of readiness, a quiet anticipation of the next duty, the next engagement, the next demand on your time and attention. This subtle, ever-present awareness is, in its own way, profoundly tiring. Think about the concept of personal space. For most, their home is a sanctuary, a place where they can truly relax and be themselves, free from external scrutiny. For you, the Queen, Buckingham Palace, Windsor Castle, Sandringham, Balmoral, these are not just homes, they are working palaces, historic landmarks, and often public attractions. Even when you are in residence, Parts of these buildings are open to the public or host official functions. The idea of truly private, inviolable space where no one else might ever enter or observe is a luxury that is severely limited. Even your private apartments are known to a select few staff members, and the boundaries between personal and public are perpetually permeable. This constant awareness of being in a space that is both personal and institutional can erode the sense of complete freedom and relaxation that a true home provides. The relentless pace, even when it appears calm and measured, is a subtle form of pressure. While you might not be running from meeting to meeting in the same way a corporate executive might, the sheer density of your schedule, the back-to-back engagements, the constant need to be mentally present and engaged creates its own unique form of fatigue. There are no true down days where you can simply disengage and recharge. Even during official holidays, such as the summer break at Balmoral, there are still red boxes, still official visitors, still the underlying awareness of your role. The concept of a complete mental break, a true vacation from responsibility, is an alien one. And consider the emotional landscape. While you are a human being with personal feelings, the public expectation is for a stoic, unwavering presence. Grief, joy, frustration, personal triumphs, these emotions must largely be processed in private or expressed with a carefully calibrated restraint in public. Imagine the discipline required to maintain this emotional composure year after year through personal losses and national crises. The luxury of openly expressing vulnerability, of sharing unvarnished emotions with the world, is not yours. Your role demands a certain emotional fortitude, a quiet resilience that, while admirable, can also be profoundly isolating. The burden of being a constant source of stability and reassurance, even when facing personal turmoil, is immense. The sheer longevity of your reign also adds a unique dimension to this boring existence. Imagine living through decades of profound social, political, and technological change, all while maintaining a consistent public image and upholding ancient traditions. You witness generations come and go, prime ministers rise and fall, global landscapes shift dramatically. This long view, while offering unparalleled historical perspective, also means a constant process of adaptation, of subtly navigating new realities while remaining true to your core role. It is a continuous learning curve, a perpetual adjustment to a world that is always moving, always evolving, while your own position remains, by design, largely static. This quiet, persistent adaptation, this constant balancing act between tradition and modernity, is a subtle and ongoing challenge. Finally, consider the legacy. Every action, every decision, every public appearance contributes to the historical record, to the narrative of your reign. You are not just living your life, you are actively shaping history, whether you intend to or not. This awareness, this understanding that your life is not merely your own, but belongs, in a profound sense, to the nation and to history, adds another layer of quiet pressure. There is no opportunity for a carefree, unburdened existence, free from the weight of historical judgment. Your life is a continuous contribution to a story far larger than yourself, a story that will be analysed and interpreted for centuries to come. This quiet, pervasive sense of historical responsibility is a constant companion, a subtle hum beneath the surface of every day. Let us now return to the red boxes, those unassuming symbols of relentless duty. They arrive often several times a day, delivered by a dedicated team of private secretaries. Each box, crafted from red leather, secured with a lock, contains not just papers, but the very pulse of the nation and the Commonwealth. Imagine the quiet click of the lock, the soft rustle of documents as you open the box. Inside, there are parliamentary papers, detailing new legislation, debates, and policy proposals. There are diplomatic cables, conveying sensitive information from embassies around the world, outlining international relations, potential conflicts, and global developments. There are reports from various government departments outlining everything from economic forecasts to social welfare initiatives. And perhaps most uniquely, there are petitions and letters from ordinary citizens expressing their hopes, their concerns, their pleas for assistance. Each document demands your attention. This is not a quick skim. This is a meticulous review, often requiring a deep understanding of complex issues. You read, you absorb, you question, you sometimes annotate with a quiet, precise hand. Your signature, applied with a practiced flourish, is not merely an autograph. It is an act of constitutional significance, transforming a bill into an act of parliament, approving an appointment, or acknowledging a diplomatic communication. Imagine the sheer mental effort involved in processing this continuous stream of information day after day, year after year, for over 7 decades. The topics shift constantly, from the minutiae of local governance to the grand sweep of international affairs. The requirement is not just to read, but to comprehend, to retain, and to offer a quiet, informed perspective when called upon. This intellectual marathon, performed largely in solitude, is a core, yet profoundly unglamorous, aspect of your reign. The art of royal small talk, too, is a skill honed over decades, a subtle dance of engagement and neutrality. Imagine meeting hundreds of people in a single day, at a garden party, a reception, a walkabout. Each person expects a moment of your attention, a brief, memorable exchange. You learn to ask open-ended questions, to listen attentively, to offer a polite, encouraging smile. You develop a vast mental database of facts and figures, remembering names, faces, and previous conversations, even if they occurred years ago. This is not casual banter with friends. It is a diplomatic performance designed to put people at ease, to make them feel valued, while simultaneously upholding the dignity of your office. The conversation must remain light, apolitical, and always appropriate. The spontaneity of a truly free-flowing discussion, where one might express a strong opinion or engage in a lively debate, is simply not possible. It is a constant, quiet exercise in social diplomacy, a repetitive yet essential duty. The burden of symbolism is perhaps the heaviest, yet most intangible, aspect of your life. You are not just a person, you are a living embodiment of the nation, of its history, its traditions, its aspirations. Every action you take, every word you utter, every piece of jewelry you wear, every colour of your outfit, all carry meaning, all are interpreted, all contribute to the narrative of the monarchy. Imagine choosing a brooch for an engagement, knowing that its history, its symbolism, will be analysed and discussed by millions. The lack of true personal expression, the constant awareness that your very being is a public statement, can be profoundly limiting. Your individuality is subsumed by the demands of your symbolic role. You are a canvas upon which the nation projects its hopes and its identity, and this silent, pervasive expectation is a constant companion. The palace itself, while your home, is also a vast, living museum and a bustling workplace. Imagine the constant presence of staff, chefs preparing meals, housekeepers maintaining the endless rooms, footmen attending to duties, security personnel patrolling the grounds. Even in your private apartments, the knowledge that staff are always nearby, always attentive to your needs, means that true, unadulterated solitude is a rare commodity. And then there are the public areas, open to tourists at certain times of the year, echoing with the footsteps and murmurs of visitors. The distinction between your private life and your public role is perpetually blurred by the very architecture of your existence. There is no true off-limits area in the same way a private home might have. The palace is a grand, magnificent cage, however gilded. Your role in the Commonwealth adds another layer of constant quiet duty. Imagine overseeing a vast, diverse family of nations, each with its own unique history, culture, and political system. This involves regular meetings, often in person, sometimes virtually, with heads of state and government from across the globe. It requires a deep understanding of international relations, of historical grievances, and contemporary challenges. You travel to these nations, often for weeks at a time, engaging in state visits that are both diplomatic missions and cultural exchanges. The goal is to foster unity, to maintain ties, to offer a quiet, unifying presence. This involves endless handshakes, countless speeches, and a continuous effort to demonstrate respect and understanding for diverse traditions. It is a perpetual exercise in soft diplomacy, a constant effort to maintain a vast, intricate network of relationships, a task that demands unwavering attention and endless patience. The annual cycle of royal life, while providing a comforting rhythm, also dictates a profound lack of spontaneity. Imagine the predictability of your year: Christmas at Sandringham, the summer retreat at Balmoral, the state opening of Parliament, Trooping the Colour, Remembrance Day. These are not merely dates on a calendar, they are deeply ingrained rituals, repeated year after year, decade after decade. While they offer a sense of continuity and tradition, they also mean that your schedule is largely predetermined, leaving little room for deviation or personal whim. The comfort of routine can, over time, transform into the subtle burden of inevitability. Every year unfolds in a familiar pattern, a quiet, unyielding march of duties and ceremonies. The relentless gaze of the media is a constant companion, far beyond the public appearances. Imagine waking up each morning knowing that your every move, your every expression, your every family dynamic is subject to intense scrutiny and often speculative headlines. Rumours, gossip, and often outright fabrications are part of the daily landscape. The need to maintain a dignified silence in the face of such intrusion, to never publicly respond to criticism or speculation, is a profound discipline. This constant media presence impacts not just your own life, but the lives of your family members, particularly your children and grandchildren who are born into this public fishbowl. The lack of true privacy, the knowledge that any personal moment could become public fodder, creates a pervasive sense of vigilance, a quiet awareness that you are always being watched, always being judged. The evolution of the monarchy throughout your reign is another quiet, yet significant aspect of your duty. You inherited a monarchy that still held significant political influence, and over decades you quietly adapted it to a modern constitutional role, largely symbolic but no less vital. Imagine the subtle negotiations, the quiet conversations with successive prime ministers, the careful balancing act between tradition and modernity. This was not a sudden, dramatic shift, but a gradual, deliberate evolution, guided by your unwavering commitment to the institution. It required immense foresight, quiet diplomacy, and a profound understanding of the changing social and political landscape. This quiet adaptation, this continuous process of reinvention while maintaining continuity, is a testament to your subtle yet powerful influence, a boring story of constant, careful adjustment. The sheer weight of public expectations is a burden that few can truly comprehend. Imagine being expected to be all things to all people, a symbol of national unity, a guardian of tradition, a modernizing force, a comforting grandmother figure, a stoic leader. Different segments of the population hold vastly different, often contradictory, expectations of your role. The pressure to meet these diverse demands, to embody so many different ideals simultaneously, is immense. It requires a constant, quiet performance, a perpetual balancing act. ensuring that your actions resonate with a broad spectrum of society without ever alienating any significant portion. This constant, subtle pressure to be universally acceptable, to represent everyone, is a profound and often exhausting aspect of your daily life. And finally, the insidious nature of the lack of true privacy. Even in your most cherished private residences, such as Balmoral or Sandringham, the presence of staff, the security detail, the knowledge that the grounds are vast but still contained, all contribute to a subtle erosion of complete personal freedom. Imagine the simple desire to walk alone, truly alone, without any watchful eyes, without any protocol, without any expectation. This is a luxury that is almost entirely denied to you. The constant vigilance, the awareness of being observed, even in moments of supposed solitude, creates a pervasive sense of being on, a quiet, underlying hum of responsibility that never truly dissipates. Your life, in essence, is a continuous public performance, even in its most private moments. The physical demands, too, are often underestimated. Imagine standing for long periods during receptions, shaking hundreds of hands at garden parties, walking slowly but steadily during parades, despite the natural aches and pains that come with age. The rigorous schedule, the constant travel, the need to maintain an upright posture and a composed demeanour for hours on end, all take a toll. While you are afforded the best medical care, the expectation to always appear robust and energetic, to never show signs of fatigue or discomfort in public, is a constant, quiet pressure. Your body, like your mind, is in service to the Crown, a vessel for the institution, and its well-being is a matter of national importance. This physical discipline, maintained over decades, is another subtle, yet profoundly demanding, aspect of your life. And so, as you drift deeper into sleep, consider the life of Queen Elizabeth II, a life defined by duty, by unwavering tradition, and often by a profound solitude that belies the constant presence of staff and public. The role of a queen is not the fairy tale many imagine, filled with endless glamour and unbridled power. It is, in its essence, a life lived within the confines of immense responsibility, where the expectations of a nation, and indeed a global community, rest upon your shoulders, day after day, decade after decade. It is a life of quiet sacrifice, of personal desires often subsumed by public necessity. It is a life of constant, subtle pressures, of predictable routines, of unwavering public presentation, and of an enduring commitment to a role that transcends the individual. It is a life of quiet, persistent effort, of continuous learning, of subtle adaptation, and of an ever-present awareness of history and legacy. A life in its quiet, predictable rhythm that might just be boring enough to lull you into the deepest, most peaceful slumber. If you found this story helped you drift into slumber, just wait for part 2. We'll delve deeper into the often unseen duties, the subtle pressures, and the often overwhelming expectations of royal life. You might just find it as soothingly boring as tonight's tale. Until next time, may your dreams be as peaceful as the sleep of a queen.